Well, hi there, food friends. It's Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. I'm Ralph behind the camera.
And welcome to Cavalcade of Food. And guess what we're making today, Ralph?
Looks like a delicious prune cream pie.
Prune cream pie. Now, we love prunes, and we've done all kinds of prune things on Cavalcade of Food over the years. And I ran across this recipe in an old book from around 1963. And I said, you know what? This sounds like something we should make. So we're going to do it.
Good.
And what I like about it, too, is it's kind of a non-fussy pie here, Ralph. And so basically all the ingredients are going to go into the mixer, and we're going to put it together, and it's going to bake in a pie shell. Now, I will tell you that the ingredients are pretty simple, and of course there are 2 prune ingredients in here. What I've got here, Ralph, is a cup of stewed prunes. Okay? So these prunes, how do you make stewed prunes?
You take a plum and you stew it.
Well, a prune is just a dried plum, so you're kind of half right. But what you do is you take prunes, just regular prunes that you would buy in the package, which are dried plums. You put them in a small pan with a little bit of water, and you know what? You bring it up to a boil, you reduce it to a simmer, put the cover on, and let them simmer for about a half an hour. And here, I've got a few left. See that?
Yeah, that's why they call when you stay in the bathtub too long, your skin gets pruny, or you're pruning.
Exactly. And that liquid that's there, that is like prune juice.
Yum.
Okay? So, I've got a cup of stewed prunes, and then I've got a half a cup here of prune juice. All right? So what we're going to do is we got to start with 3 beaten eggs. I'm going to put that in the good old trusty Westinghouse. We're using the Westinghouse mixer today, Ralph. I thought, why not? And we get a little spatula here.
We should give every vintage appliance a chance to shine.
Exactly. And you know, we have so many, and it's fun to switch them out. So we've got 3 eggs. And then I've got a cup of milk here. Now when you make milk and eggs together, Ralph, do you know, we know what that is, right?
Custard?
A custard, absolutely right. So we know this is going to be a custard-based pie. So 3 eggs, a cup of milk, half of a cup of prune juice. Then I've got a quarter of a cup, I believe, yes, of just flour. Okay, we'll put that in there. And then I've got a half a cup of sugar. We'll put that in there. And then I've got a half a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. So that's our seasoning. Put that in there. And then I'm going to put in a teaspoon of vanilla.
So far it sounds easy and fun.
And we're just going to mix this together. While that's mixing, I'm going to take a fork and I'm going to just sort of mash these stewed prunes up a little bit. Just to kind of
break them down a touch.
Break them down a little bit before we add those into the mixer here. But let's get our basically our custard-based mixture good and put together. Okay, Ralph, so this is our liquid, our custard mix is good and beaten. I'm going to take, always try to do this so that our friends can see what we're doing here. We're going to put in our, you know, I love the smell of prunes. Something so sweet. And we're going to, now the blender will, the mixer should blend this up a little bit into little pieces.
Okay.
So we're going to let the beaters do its job here. And, you know, mashing them up ahead of time did help. Because what you want is you want kind of little chunks of prune, you know what I mean, throughout.
But not big chunks.
But not, yeah, not like big whole prunes in there. Okay. That looks good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to roll out a 9-inch pie crust. Now I've made pastry crust many times on Cavalcade, so I'm not going to redo the recipe, but I'm going to get my pie plate. We want a 9-inch pie plate, and we'll get a pastry crust in there, and we'll get our filling in the pie crust and then into a 400-degree oven. Okay, Ralph, I got our 9-inch pie plate and pastry shell in. Okay, and we're going to add our filling here. Look at all that prune goodness.
That looks good. If you like prunes, which I do.
If you like prunes. And you know, prunes are one of those ingredients that were a very common thing a few generations ago. We've kind of gotten away. Prunes sort of got a reputation for being like something that old people eat. But we love prunes. We're not old, right?
Kinda.
And they're such a, nothing quite tastes like it, you know?
Yeah, it's like rhubarb. These are kind of old-fashioned but fun flavors that sometimes younger folks shy away from, or they might not have the reputation that they deserve. But yeah.
Which is why we try to keep these recipes alive.
Exactly.
So we're going to put this in, again, our oven's at 400 degrees, and we're going to put it in the 1958 Frigidaire, and we're going to set the timer for 45 minutes. You know what? It's like a pumpkin pie, which is also a custard type pie. So we want that filling to sort of be set, okay? So we'll put it at 45 minutes and then give it a check.
Sounds good.
So our timer went off, 45 minutes. We're going to check. And again, Ralph, like I said, it's a custard pie akin to the pumpkin pie.
So does that mean you want it a little jiggly?
Well, you want it a little jiggly, but you want a knife inserted into the center to come out clean.
Or a toothpick.
Or yeah, although I would use a knife in this case because this is sort of custardy, and you need a little bigger sample. Look at that. Okay.
It sure smells good.
So you know what? Now, really, we're just going to let it cool, and that'll take a bit. But
the worst part is the waiting.
The waiting, yes, but it has to get nice and cool before we can cut into it. So it'll be later on, and we'll make some nice whipped cream for it and enjoy. So Ralph, our pie is cooled nicely. You can see it sort of deflated a little bit, and there it is. I've got a cup of whipping cream here, and what we're going to do is we're going to make some. Now, if you wanted to just use whipped topping, that would be fine.
You mean like Fluffernutter?
Not Fluffernutter. Although I guess you could put that on.
You're talking about Cool Whip?
Yeah, like Cool Whip. But the recipe from 1963 called for whipping cream, and so that's what we're going to do. So I've got a cup of whipping cream here. I'm going to put in maybe a couple tablespoons of sugar, sweeten it up a little bit, and we'll get this whipped up, and then when we come back, we'll have it. You could cover the top of the pie with the whipping cream, or I think I'm just going to have the whipping cream on the side and put a nice big dollop. Okay. Nice. Look
Ooh,
at that.
So that's what you want, is like the
That's
thickness
what you want,
and stiffness
yes.
of the whipped cream.
So let me get a knife here, Ralph.
So much time has passed that Kevin had to change outfits.
Well, I hope our friends don't mind that I got comfortable.
How's it cutting?
Nicely. So what I'm going to do is cut a piece here and get under the crust. first piece of pie is the one I normally take for myself because I often mangle it coming out, and so I have to serve it.
It's the trickier one that
Yeah.
the crust will break up a little bit. But after that, it's smooth. And after that, it's smooth sailing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't stand on ceremony.
So here we go.
Mmm.
Look at that.
Prune cream pie.
Isn't that
It almost
beautiful?
looks like mincemeat.
You know, it looks like a little, mincemeat, a little chocolate. So, and then there's some nice,
Wow.
there's few things better to me than fresh, real whipped cream.
You want a little pie with that whipped cream?
But we can't just go by looks. Let's see.
The proof is in the pudding, or in this case, the
prune.
pruning.
Wow. It is silky. You know what? It has the consistency of a pumpkin pie. I knew he wanted it. But, right?
Wow, yeah.
And then you have the little pieces of prune in there. And, you know, it doesn't like have a super, it's like, oh my God, it's all prune.
No, it's not overpowering by any means.
It's a very light.
light,
I mean,
yeah.
Definitely get, when you get a little piece of the prune, it's in there.
It just adds to the texture of it.
Wow. That's nice. And I'll tell you, that is something so totally different than
It really is.
than anything you've ever had before. And
Don't you love that our friends can join us on these journeys into our culinary fantasies and fun?
well, and that we can take a recipe that's, almost 60 years old and bring it back to life and
Right.
enjoy it. So you know what?
Don't be afraid of prunes, ladies and gentlemen.
There's the moral of the story. Don't be afraid of prunes. Don't be afraid of anything. Just enjoy. And you know what? We're just glad that you could spend some time with us. We hope that you are staying strong, staying safe, staying well.
Staying positive, but testing negative.
There you go. So you know what? Thank you for spending the time with us, and we'll see you again here right on Cavalcade of Food.
Right on.
Right on. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Happy baking.